This is my plant light, it makes it look like it's so light outside, but it's still dark. It's not even 6 o'clock in the morning. But I opened the curtains so that the plants, I don't know, because when the curtains are around them, I just think it's better for the light. And so, anyways, kind of fishbowl-ish. But I don't know, it's pretty dark in the house, except for this. But I think from out there, this probably just looks like another plant light. If you were in the street and you were walking by and you just would see the lights up in the window, I don't think you can see very much detail, but I don't know. It's weird too. It's like, this has been on my mind lately. For a bunch of different reasons. I won't go into all the details. It's just weird stuff. And like you'll be out and you'll be thinking like, what does somebody else think you look like? Like wow, it was the grocery store. Oh yeah, this was trippy. Oh yeah, I wanted to talk about this. So yesterday, yeah, I had left and went to the store, which they still had a bunch. And one thing too that they had, this flavor I had never tried before called Cool Mint. And so I was like, oh, is this gonna be real minty? I mean, mint's good for your stomach, but I was like, man, I don't know if I... So I opened one and tasted it, and I was like, oh, this is really good. So I got a few of those. So anyways, I got a bunch of canned kombucha now. It makes me feel so fancy. But, and I don't know, I like the taste. My kombucha is a lot stronger. And, anyways, I like the taste. So I totally scored on that little trip. And, but there was something I noticed at the store. And so I tried to go early, and still there's always people at the grocery store on Saturday morning. And so I went, I mean, during the week, when people are at work, you're better if you don't want to be at the store with a lot of people. But when it's times when people are off work, like after work time and on the weekends, is when everybody goes out and tries to run their errands. So it's always more like, I don't want to go out and do with that. But anyways, there was more people in the store. And it was like I came out of an aisle and started to turn at the same time this other woman was coming up. This was really kind of tripped me out, because it's like these encounters are supposed to occur. And it's just so weird, and they can be so small and so random, but everything is so perfectly placed in your life. And it is so much more about how present you are. And so and at this grocery store I go to, they have these kid carts. And so they have a whole extension. So the kids are like driving a car or something. I don't know. It's a whole little thing. And so she has one of those, and she has this kid in this cart. And so we start to go, and then we both look at each other. And then she's like, oh, I'm sorry. And I was like, oh, no, it's okay. And she goes, oh, no, you're perfect. And so I went down the aisle, and I kept hearing, oh, you're perfect. You're perfect. And I was like, look at that, how like somebody can say something like that. You can feel like you're perfect. You're just perfect. The words ringing in my ears, you're perfect. And so I kept thinking, man, that's really kind of a nice thing to say to somebody if you think about it. No, you're perfect. And so I was like, well, if I cross her path again, then I'm going to tell her she's perfect. And so what do you know? There we go again. So we cross paths again. And I said, you're perfect. And so she was like, oh, thanks. And so she went about her thing, and I went and did some more stuff. I was kind of like, when I get to the end and I'm just looking for some different things. And so I'm like all over the place trying to find, like I was trying to find crunchy Chinese noodles, which they didn't have any, but they had crunchy onions, which I love those. And so, and they're really good like on potatoes and stuff. Anyways, I don't know. If you get like out of the meat thing, which I'm not telling people you have to stop eating meat or whatever. That's between you, that's your thing. But when you start going vegetarian or just doing vegetables, it's, I don't know, it's fun to come up with like different things. But anyways, I like the potatoes. And I made a whole bunch more French fries the other day. Oh, you guys don't even know about I was making French fries because I was on TikTok. because I have people ask me stuff about, well, how do you eat? You know, like people don't know how to be healthy. And, and then somebody's like, well, that's too greasy, but you got to have some good fats. And you got to think about that's why they were eating whale fat and stuff, because the fats keep you, it's like needing to oil the machine, you know? So you got to think about that too. So think about your body as like a machine. And, so anyways, we crossed again, and I told her she was perfect, and she was very thankful about that. But I think it kind of was like, you know, I don't know. I don't even know if she realized that she had said that to me, if that was just a thing. Because one thing I noticed for sure, because I was like right after that one happened, then it's like another one caught my attention. But women are constantly apologizing for themselves. Even when I said about those ladies getting punched in the face as they're walking down the street, that they would be like apologetic. Like, oh, I was looking down. I shouldn't have been in their way, you know? And it's like, no, you were assaulted. These people are in the wrong. And, but you have all these women who are constantly, you know, just like I'm walking down the thing. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be in your space. It's like, I don't know, it's just so wild. And just notice that about yourself or about women or something. And I don't know what the whole thing is. I feel like that we need to become less apologetic about taking up any space, be friendly and nice. But I don't know. There definitely seems to be something out of balance when you have so many women apologizing for being in your way. Oh my God. Didn't mean to exist here. Sorry about that. It's like, no, you're fine. You're fine. And so, anyway, you're perfect. And so, anyways, then that wasn't the last encounter. I encountered her, I think 2 more times or something. And we just kept smiling at each other and being friendly. But then we went up to go get, and I went up and got in line, and then she came up a different way. And then she came up to the line, and then she got in the one behind me. And I was like, this is so weird to have this like so many times with this person, but that's, you know, there's an energy or something. And she was just so friendly and so nice, and a little girl and stuff. They were just, you know, adorable. And then they had like one thing in their cart. And I was like, that is just the strangest thing. Like we're encountering each other all through the store. There's like this whole thing, because it made a difference to me. Like it gave me food for thought. It made me think about things. It made me look at things, because you know, that's why I say you can get caught up in you know, you can be all caught up in your mind, and you're just, oh, at the store, just want to hurry up and get the fuck out of here. You're just, barreling through, and somebody does that, and you're just like, God damn it, another fucking person. And you just stay on your fucking tempo. Then you don't get to benefit from these encounters. So then when you get more open and relaxed and go with the flow, then you get to have these encounters, and then that makes you like think about things. It makes you see things. It makes you have like these happy feelings like, fuck, I'm perfect. She noticed. But anyways, then I was like, then I was thinking, and I kept thinking about the how women are so apologetic or whatever. And so then I was getting my stuff rung up. And I must have still been putting mine in the cart. And she must have got hers and went, because I had a bunch of stuff. And then she went, because I was still talking to the girl. I don't know how this went. Yeah, because why would I even have her stay behind me if she had one thing? Oh, my stuff was already on the thing, I think. Because usually I would just say, go ahead of me. I don't know. This is weird. It's very fuzzy. I can't really see it very good. But after, because she left and I was still there, and the girl who was ringing me up, I can't, it seems like we were standing there for a few minutes, but so I started talking to her while I was putting my stuff in the bag. And I said, you ever noticed how it's kind of strange how women are always apologizing for themselves, where, you know, they're always apologizing? And she stopped for a minute and she goes, yeah, you're right. And I think she just clicked in as the woman, as she was leaving, she apologized something else, like, you know, our carts were going to get too close. Oh, sorry. And I know I do that all the time. Like, I'll be walking through things. Oh, sorry, you know? And it's just weird. And it's like a woman lingo or something. Because I don't know that men do that. I mean, there could be some, but I don't know if it's part of the women training or something. I mean, when you watch old movies, there is some training that went on about the perspective of women, I'll tell you that. And so it is, it's just strange. But anyway, so I was talking to this young girl, and she was like, yeah, that is. And so we're having this little chat, and then I said, and it's weird, like at the same time, you have these men going around punching girls. Like, you got women apologizing, sorry, didn't mean to be there. And they got men punching women, and she looks at me like puzzled. And I said, oh, you don't know about the men punching women on the street and stuff? And she's like, no. It's so weird when something is your reality and you think like, well, everybody else knows about it. No. And so I said, oh, yeah, it's a trend. There's these men just going around punching girls in the street and knocking them, punching them in the face. And some are getting really hurt. And the one in Venice Beach, that guy didn't stop with one punch. He took him down and then he just laid onto him. And I don't even know if that one woman, whoever came out of her coma or whatever, the other woman, her face was all battered, but I haven't seen her in a while. But that guy was already caught and busted. And then in New York, they had busted somebody. But these things keep going. I mean, like the girl getting punched in the mall, like this stuff keeps going. The one in Louisiana, I think it's part of like the instigators go out and instigate and create crime and stuff, and it's like on their list. Well, you can punch people in the face that you don't know, and they're like, oh, okay, I'll do that one. That one's pretty easy. So you got them all over the place, spread out, going around doing it because it's one of the, you know, the provided ways to attack us, I think, in the list of what to do. So, anyways, I was telling her, and I said, and it's more like your age too, so it's more like you've got to be more careful. There was an older woman who got punched, and she got like broke bones in her face, man. She got really jacked up. I think she's like by New Jersey or New York. She's definitely over there. So then the girl was like, you know, chatting with me, and wow, thanks, I didn't know that. I said, yeah, look it up. It's like some kind of trend and stuff, so you gotta watch out. I don't know like where she's at. She's like more in a small town, but she's also in the age of like, you know, let's go to Seattle for the weekend, and that's where, you know, you're gonna find a lot more danger. But even in Bellingham, you know, all the college towns, and then I started thinking, man, isn't that funny how they made sure to put the colleges in all these different towns, and then be like, it's kind of like a resource center for the cabal or something, you know? It's like, let's get one in every city, and let's make them think that's super cool. So, oh, and they even get a benefit. You can go to your own for cheaper. It's like, God damn, they are sneaky motherfuckers. See how they always are using money as a lure to get you to just submit to their actions. So so anyways, it was weird because then after I had left from talking to her, and yesterday I had used this mascara. I ordered some new now. I'm excited to see because I got this, I got a mascara, and I'm gonna look it up more and see, because I was thinking this stuff is more natural, but I was like, who fucking knows? I gotta look it out more and see if, and then plus pay attention to my body, you know, if my lashes start coming out or whatever, if my eyes become itchy, if something goes weird. Because I got one of the things is some eyebrow gel that is waterproof, so it doesn't come off, so you can paint your eyebrows on and it stays on all day long. And then my mascara, I was using this other one, and it's too clunky, and so it had like a lot, and my eyelashes have grown because of taking the biotin, because normally I have really short lashes, which I'm sure still people be like, well, your lashes are still short. It's like, it's all perspective, dude. They're long for me, and so like this is long for my fingernails. Like, fuck, I can't believe how long my fingernails are right now. And some people would be like, dude, that's nothing. And I'm somebody who uses my hands all the time. So but the mascara was all goopy. And so once I had left and stuff, especially I was looking, it was like, made it seem like my eyes, all the focus was to my eyes and this black fucking goop on my eyelashes. And then, my eyebrow stuff had been all wiped off. And I don't even, I haven't been using the, like I've ran out of all the different ones. So that's why I've ordered this one. Otherwise I have to use the, charcoal one I made, but it's just too black. It's just too dark. It's not light enough. So, like these fucking eyelash things. So when I was looking in the mirror, I was like, oh my God, I look fucking wacky. And it was and always the mirror in the car. The mirrors in the fucking place where they have fluorescent lighting. Like do not look good in fluorescent lighting. I look fucking yellow or something. I look weird. And I swear to God, they do that on purpose. They want us to, fluorescent lighting is not better for us. They're fucking bullshit. And they make us look weird. It probably does sound weird to us. And I think it's so, like, you go look at yourself and you're like, oh my God, I'm hideous. So, like, I've got to run. And then, and sometimes I swear to God, it makes you look like you've like aged 10 years just from their fucking light source. And so I think I was looking in the one in the car, which is just as heinous. And I look at and I'm like, oh my God, my eyes look fucking whack. And then I was sitting there thinking, I wonder what this person thought, like when they're sitting there talking to me, if they're thinking, oh, this poor old crazy looking lady, like, it's so weird because we will think of like, what do they see? But you have no idea what somebody sees. And then I even start going back and I start thinking of other encounters like, well, I wonder what they thought. I wonder what they think. It's like, it's so weird because you have no idea. It's all based, like somebody could look at you and go like, oh man, that woman's whacked. Or somebody could look at you and go, oh, I feel sorry for her. Or somebody could look at you and go, oh, she's so cool. I mean, it is all by what they feel. Like somebody, like, there's lots of young people who, like me because I have a bunch of tattoos. And so they don't see me as being like uptight old, my stomach's growling, an uptight old grumpy boomer or something, I'm a lot more, I don't know, not presentable. What is the word? Not presentable by it too. A lot of people's standards. That's what I'm saying. It's all on the own individual person. And, but more down to earth or something, not so like, because think about like the younger generation. Like I saw a guy even walking down the road, and when I left the grocery store, it was a big old guy, real, one guy who you think was probably like a linebacker in high school, and he had this long hair, about down to here, real curly, and bright pink. And I don't think he had a shirt on. I don't know, maybe he had a tight shirt on or something. I mean, he's walking down the road with another group of people. And see, us back, older people, we look at that and just like, how strange. And it's so feminine for this guy, which is very strange because, we grew up where it was like more pushed to shut up, you little pussy bitch. You don't act like that. You don't cry. Get over there and act like a man. That's the kind of stuff we heard. And so, yeah, if a boy would have came out and, put on pink wig or something and been like, get over there, you little sissy pants. Take that wig off. Like, there was no room for that. And, no room for self-expression or figuring out who you were or anything like that. It was like there was a standard and it was high morals. Like I'm telling you, it was like, fuck, the propaganda. Like what really got me was that Suzanne Plachette movie where she was just obsessed with sex. And started, I swear to God, she's supposed to be like 16 years old and she looks like she's 35. And then she's just obsessed. She just can't, she has no boundaries. She just has sex. Like she cheats on her husband to the point where it kills her mom because, she's so ashamed of her daughter is, has sex. Like it's a shame. It's a shameful situation. It's a shameful, sinful act. And it is more, women were raised like, just grin and bear it. Just, oh, it'll be over with in a minute. Like, and then they're running around with all these kids like this. I don't know. It was a different way back then. It was like the things that we would have overheard and stuff, that was like, it was the wife's duty. It's just, you just got to get through it. It's all about him and his needs. You just get through it. So you see why it had to curve out, but we just went really far out that way. And now we get to see like how far we actually went. And that's going to pull us back in, because what it is, we don't want to go way out either way. We want to find balance, and each of us has to find our own balance. And it's just so trippy, because there is no set you. Everything that is you is only a reflection of themselves through you, because it shows them like what they focus on, what they think about. Like if somebody looks at you and it's just like, oh man, that woman, she's wacko, looking at my tattoo, she's just a weirdo, then that is something inside of them. And even if somebody is just like, gives you more I can't think of the word, but that looks at you and it's like, oh yeah, she's super cool. She's got all these tattoos. She's super cool. And then it's like, yeah, but maybe I'm not. Like, maybe I'm not that cool. Like, so you don't want to just, we got to get out of this superficial, shallow way of presenting or representing, like to give that value, to be like, oh, that person is a good person because that is how they got away with this through the church and stuff, through politics. Like, you put on a suit and you have a nice smile. Because there was a thing too, and I don't know, this was back, I don't know, in 80s or 90s or something. I would think it would be, this is another thing, like when you know some stuff, then you think like everybody else does, but like, fuck, I thought more people knew what was going on in the Middle East. So like, people really don't know what the fuck, like, you don't know what other people's life is all about, their existence, their reality. And, but there was a thing about politicians back a long time ago, and it was about, that they even, like, they want them to look a certain way. Like, they want them to be, like, if you go into, like, if you're in your town and you had any kind of sway with people, if you were charismatic, they look for people who are charismatic, but they want immoral people. They want people that don't give a fuck about anybody else. And they find them. Like, there's plenty of them out there. But the reason they don't is, like, for one thing, they could be just playing a role, or they could be learning to have compassion. There's like a bunch of variables. But, all souls, I mean, that's still a part of them. Like, we all have all these parts. We have to find the balance. So, anyways, let me think what I was saying. The people, finding that side of them. I don't know how I get so off on it. And then it's like, where did it go? The people, and it's like I'm right on the edge. Like, what? Okay, I'll just go someplace else. That the people trying to refocus someplace else. Okay, so when you want to heal, that's a safe place. So when you want to see yourself, you need to be able to see yourself. You got to be able to look at yourself. That's the whole thing. This is about learning yourself. This is about seeing yourself. This is about fixing yourself. And so many people, they want to distract themselves and point the fingers. Well, if you would get fixed, if you would just do this different. And so many people, they want, somebody in a relationship. You get fixed, so our relationship improves. And you know what really stuck out to me yesterday, too, is something jumped out at me, was people who say, you're lucky to be with me. You're lucky to be with me. If that is somebody's attitude, if you're in a relationship where you think the other person's lucky to be with you, you got to take steps to get out of that relationship. You're not in the right relationship. You shouldn't be with somebody who you think, oh, you're lucky to be with me. You should feel lucky to be with them. You should be like, fuck, god damn, I'm lucky. And if you don't feel like that, then yeah, but you are giving your time to them. It's not them. They can't take something. You're giving it. And then you're whining at them that they're not appreciating it. Well, you're not appreciating yourself. So you are the one who's got the issue. You're the one who's got a boundary problem. And you are dependent on, that's codependency, when you're depending on somebody else to make your stuff better. Like, you need to fix yourself so I can feel better. That's codependent behavior. And that is definitely something you want to break free from. And that is why you are the person who has to go out and notice for yourself what your behaviors are and stuff, because that is where you can fix those things. You can realize, but see, it's hard to end relationships. And that's why, there's so many endings, but there's so many, like, there's people who are hanging on for dear life. I mean, there's one after another of these women in videos whose husbands just cheated on them, just left them, just all this kind of stuff. It's like, but that, you don't realize that that's a blessing until you start going through the replay of your existence with this person. And then you start seeing like, I should have fucking left then. What was I doing? And you'll start seeing. And then when you go through the replay, this is why you need time of reflection and be honest with yourself. When you go through the replay, then you start seeing all of the times where you should have taken action. You were playing games. And so when you want these toxic relationships to end, it starts with you. Is when you can go like, fuck, I'm not playing this game. I'm not playing this game. And then that's where you get yourself into, it's a different way of living. So you aren't having these toxic games played out because you're not participating anymore. That's how you change your life into feeling good, is because you aren't the toxic, that toxic side of yourself. You've minimized it. You can't make it go away. You have awareness of it so that you have more control of it. It's like knowing something so that you can keep straight, like knowing that something's there so that you can find your space in between, so you can find your balance. So it is, and it's all through awareness and self-reflection to be able to go in and see yourself and witness yourself. And there is so many people who are so caught up in, because they do videos and stuff like, I don't get it. How do you not care about what other people think about you? So see, there's so many people who are still caught up in that loop of, trying to get to please everybody. Because how do you get everybody to think something about you, especially where it is that you feel comfortable? And you can't worry about it. You can't worry because somebody misgendered you. You can't worry because somebody, doesn't like your tattoos. Like, that's their personal problem. Like, do you, like, have yourself a good old day. I don't care. And, like the little girl, the young one, she was out yesterday when we went and were walking, and she was just out by herself in the yard. And I'm sitting there thinking, look at her. She's just so independent and creative. I'm just going to go out and just figure out something to do by myself in the yard. And she had the little foster puppy, and they were out there. So Stella wanted to go in and see him. And so, we went in, and I sat and was talking to the little girl for a while, and Stella wanted to go. Then we came back and we sat and we were talking again. And And Stella always wants to get up there. Stella loves little girls and little kids, any of them. Doesn't matter if they're a boy or girl. She really likes little ones. And I think it's because my grandkids were like that size when she met them. And so she loves this age of kids. She just loves little kids when they're right to her face. And so she wants to go up and start licking her. And she's like, no, no. And so, but we had to keep having discussions about this. She wanted to talk about it. You know, Stella's just got a really big tongue. It's a big tongue. It's way bigger than her dog's tongues. And she doesn't really want that big tongue on her. And I was like, it's perfectly fine. You don't have to explain yourself. You don't have to defend yourself. You have the right to your own choices. If you don't want some big tongue on you, then that is your right to have that choice. And you know, I think that is where we got to also go towards with kids. Like, yeah, you don't have to explain yourself. If that's how you feel, that's how you feel. And, you know, and let each of them expand how they feel about things. Because it comes from inside. It shouldn't be forced. Like, you know, a boy shouldn't be told, you know, shut up, you little whiny ass, go in the other room, act like a man. You know, he should, you know, come to that conclusion himself, not have it forced on him. But that is the way that this society has been, because it is not just, our society has impacted us through our parents and grandparents and aunts and uncles and family members and everybody trying to fit into society, which really impacts us because it limits us in how we can become ourselves. And so, you know, it has just been a stagnation. That's why it is like a phoenix coming out of the fire, because this is going to be so many people rising from themselves, because there's been such a complete stagnation of them being held back from who they truly are. And so this is a time where people go full flight. They come out of themselves to find themselves, because there's so much. These are the bars of your cage. Oh, and this is weird. This is so much about how people don't think things through. This is a person sitting on a beach, and they're filming this. And so it is, and these two people kind of reminded me of like back in 2020, when you would see like these people in whole plastic suits out trying to, you know, like bounce and hug each other, like weird stuff. It was like boy in the bubble kind of stuff. Like, people don't understand how germs work. Like, it's so wacky because they don't understand. They just go with, wow, I'm going to do this because I'm scared. So this is the same thing. So these people, this couple is walking out. They have a big shark cage thing, and they're taking that out. They're going to go swimming in their shark cage so nothing can hurt them. So they go out in the ocean and not get bit by a shark. And it's like, how, like, what in the world do these people think? Like, how are you going to swim and keep your cage up? Your cage is going to sink. How are you going to have any control of anything? And, you know, and I mean, luckily they were going from shallow, but still a wave could have swept them and they would have had no control. So the lifeguard's charging over there to tell him, and the woman who's filming, like, she's laughing. And as the people are trying to explain to the lifeguard or something, and it's just like, oh my God, these people have not thought this through at all. But see how fear drives you, but then you don't think it through. So then your fear ultimately is what takes you out, because then you're trying to protect yourself from the sharks in the cage to go swimming. It's like, you know, those cages are normally, you know, they're on a thing and they have to be maneuvered by something different, like not the person in the cage. I'm like, what the hell? So, so anyways, that is like a part of why it's important to be able to be more thoughtful and sit back and think things through, not just reactive, and especially reacting to fear. And I swear to God, so, and I'm not saying like, I don't even go in the ocean. Like, so much I don't want to do it. I don't want to even go out there and go swimming. I don't even want to go swimming in any fucking dark water. Like, if the water is crystal clear, like over in the Caribbean or something like that, and you go out and it's crystal clear, like, I'll go get in that water. And I still don't really like those the salt, but now I'm a lot more like, well, it's probably really good to absorb that salt into your skin, but I've always thought it was kind of itchy. And so, but now I think, you know, I probably would go do it, but I don't want to go into dark waters, especially when, you know, there's all this truth coming out about, like, there's all sorts of beans and shit in these fucking dark waters. Oh, and speaking of waters and gross stuff, you know, Indiana or something, in Indianapolis or something, I don't know, someplace, they had a woman died in a pool. They left her in there for 3 days, and people were in there swimming and had no idea that a woman was dissipating in the water. And so they're going down and getting that water in their mouth. It's so disgusting. It seems so fucking diseased. And you know what was really getting me too yesterday? I was like, I think I got something in an email or something from the water company. And they try and tell you, like, oh, because they're going up $4 too. And they're trying to tell you, like, how great they are, you know, how lucky we are to have this water sewage fucking company. They take sewage and turns it into water for us. And it's so fucking clean and lucky for. And there's these signs. They keep sending me stuff. They want me to do this survey thing. And I'm like, fuck you guys. No, I keep throwing them away. There's signs up everywhere. Do your fucking survey. I'm like, fuck off with your fucking survey shit. And so then, but the money thing, how it's $165 motherfucking dollars for the goddamn sewage and water. And that's not trash. That's their fucking just the drain. It's just the water circuit. $165 that we're supposed to be paying. I think it's every other month. But the way that it just goes and goes and goes. Like, I constantly get 165 and then all of a sudden it's 305. And so, I don't know. It could be 165 a fucking month. Like, I know when I very first got it, I thought it was a mistake. I thought something's wrong. Like, there's no fucking way. $165? In Spokane, this is the same motherfucking state. In Spokane, our water sewage thing was like $30 a month. And that was just for the sewage. You didn't pay for water unless you went over like 100 billion gallons. And then you had to pay like $10 for the year. You get charged at the end of the year. And if you got paid $10, then you knew you watered your yard too much. And I had a swimming pool. And so I think I paid the $10 or whatever. I probably got the $10. But here, $165 up for a fucking month. And they're doing us a goddamn favor. And then they got that fucking HOA fees and all this shit. It's just fucking bullshit. Especially when you know, like, oh, we're our own water district. I'm like, the corruption in our fucking lives is so fucking astounding. I can't even believe it. Oh yeah, the politicians thing. Because there was a thing where it was that, you know, as long as they just looked good. So if, you know, if you were somebody who was like charismatic and you went out and you had pull in your town and you decided to be mayor or something, and then you start doing that, they're already looking at you. You already have attention on you. They've already, they scout, they see, like like I've talked about this before. They have a system in the schools of direction. It's like a funneling system where they push people in certain directions. So, and they're creating criminals, they're creating everything that they want, you know, for their society. And then they push people in the directions that they want. Ooh, which, if you didn't see, which college was it? It was university. I don't think it was Vermont, but it seemed like it was a V, but it didn't seem like it was Virginia. I don't know. It was one of the universities just had graduation, and the governor went up and started talking. And when the governor went up and started talking, all of the graduates got up and walked the fuck out. They were like, nope, sorry. And that was powerful. I thought that was fucking good. And this is going to be more and more turning the backs on all governing agencies. But it is that's the thing, is like, if you had the look and stuff, and this was in so many movies in the 80s and 90s too, I swear to God. There was like a whole fucking thing about political espionage and all this kind of stuff. There was a whole run of those movies, because when I like to watch old movies, and it's like, fuck, I can't, there's so many of those. And in the older movies than that, there's so much propaganda on World War II. It's like fucking so much. And so I was just thinking, like, Vietnam or any of that. Like, I know that they did do some with the propaganda movies over, like, with Middle East stuff. There is a lot of those. And probably like Gulf War shit and Afghanistan and stuff. But they're always directing how to see, but there's always a sense of disclosure. But they do, you know, a certain guy, you know, if he has the right look and he's charismatic, then he will get all the backing to push him through. And but the thing is that they'll even, some of the times they'll tell the guy that they believe in him. They believe in what he stands for and stuff. So they're going to give him all the money to get him elected. And they're going to do all the things, which all the things, when you have those people on your side, it's fucking corrupt. And so then they get him in position. But then once you're in position, you owe them. And so then they have total control. And that's the kind of stuff, like, they showed that too in that show Deuce, where it shows all about the New York corruption around like the 80s. It was around like when they started doing, it was something with porn and stuff. It shows there's just like a lot of corruption. But they get these like because even when you work your way up to governor, but still you start as like mayor or city councilman, and you have you'll get pushed further and further if you do the stuff that you are asked to do. And so once you get up to like senators and stuff like that, these people have done a lot of crimes. They're a lot really bad, but it's like the persona. It's like they got the smile, they got the suit, they got the backing. And so then people, and then they have a value that they push, that the people, you know, get a hold of. And then it's always like these little term things. That's why it's like make it back better, and all these little things that people jump onto. Oh, which Donald was, he's doing his circuit, and he went off on something. Somebody was sharing a clip. It was like somebody who hates him, though, was sharing this clip. And it's always when you hear the different perspectives. But he was talking about, oh yeah, he was talking about cannibalism. But he was talking about, who was it? Something about, what was it? It wasn't like the Dahmer party and how great they were or something. No, it was something like weird, though, and absurd. And so, and the people were like outraged, like, look at the kind of stuff he's believing. Look at what he talks about. And then all his followers, they're all in it. But then, you know, if you were an observation watching this stuff, it is, he's drawing attention to something that's about to be talked about a lot. Like, he's getting something, he's bringing something to the surface that is a part of your existence that you are unaware of yet. And so he's introducing something to your mind. So then it's introduced in, and he's the catalyst, man. He gets it in there, like, woo! And the people are like, wow, motherfucker. But he gets it in there. So he's got, you know, this in their mind. And it's always, he's the source, you know, he's the evil. And, but it's the introduction to certain information, just like this whole thing on the delegates, but then it also brings up so much nastiness in people. And that is a part of, for them to be able to see, but a lot of them don't see yet because the lights aren't on, but they're still, you know, they're still locking in their answers to themselves because you won't be able to get away from it. I'm telling you, it was wild when I all of a sudden saw the truth about him. And I had been so mean to him on Twitter and stuff. I had said shit. I told him he's a fucking perv, poor, you know, I said all sorts of stuff on his thing. And it was okay. Like, I mean, and he was, you know, the president. And you could go on there and say whatever nasty shit you wanted. And it was fucking fine and dandy. You wouldn't get any community guidelines or anything. And so I was saying nasty shit to him all the time. And then 2020 occurred, you know, and I was suspicious over the sickness because it was like nothing they're saying is making sense. And so I started watching, trying to, you know, I'm going to catch them. They're fucking lying about something. There's something weird going on here. And then that's when it opened my eyes. It was like, what? It just was like, whoa. And all of a sudden you just see, and it's wild. And then when you start trying to tell people what you've seen and how they turn on you viciously and you become this label and stuff, it's like, oh my God, this is wild. This is so wild how they have our society. And, but once I could see, you know, nobody else knew. There was nobody putting pressure on me, but the pressure was inside of me so hard. I felt so ashamed of myself for being so judgmental and so hateful and publicly saying hateful things and it being accepted. And just, I just like, you just go through this whole thing. And that's why I'm saying you cannot get away from the mirrors. When this all starts happening, you can't get away from it. It's inside of you. And all these people who are saying these things, locking in their way they look at things, is because that's what they're going to look at. They're going to have to see that side themselves. But that is when everything changed for me on social media, is when I went on to Twitter and I changed my attitude. And I apologized to him. And it was like the shortest thing. It was just like a short couple of line thing. And it was just like, you know, I really apologize for all the mean things I've said. I had no awareness. I wasn't paying, whatever it was I said. It was real brief like that. And it was fucking going so fast. I couldn't believe it. This is the first time I'd ever had anything start going viral. And it was going so fast. My notifications were going so fast. And it was just go, 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 go. And I was like, oh my gosh. Really, you know, lit a fire here. And then Twitter took down my whole thing, and it gave me a thing, and it said that I lost my account for a week. And that is like, that's when I started seeing right away about, oh, this censorship. But it still took a while, like, of how really deep and significant it is. And there's some people who are just still catching on to it, but yeah, they go completely against our rights. They pretend like we have rights, but we don't. They don't, you know, acknowledge. They tell us, but they don't live it. You know, get what I'm saying? So, you know, it's all, and that is where you have to see for yourself. Well, they can tell you something, but are you living it? And so, but yeah, that's when censorship started for me. And it was like, I don't know, it was only within a couple weeks. And I had the Secret Service here. And so that's when I was just like, started seeing things way different. And then you try and tell people, and it was like very confusing, because you think once you see that, well, then everybody else will see. I just got to show them what I saw. And that's when it started being like, what the fuck? Why does nobody see? Why can't I get other people to see? And so then you start going through that thing. I was like, oh, you can't wake up. And then when you start seeing people wake up and you start seeing like, oh, this thing happened and that woke them up. Oh, this thing happened and that woke them up. Oh, this thing. And then you start putting it all together of like, oh, everybody has their own soul stories that is happening. Everybody's playing out their own stories. So yeah, of course, different things are going to wake different people up. But the big thing is going to be this big impactful moment where the lights come on. And that is going to be the big, the big shebang on the waking up people. And the thing that they're going to face is going to be that same kind of thing as like I went through. I was like saying mean stuff. And then all of a sudden you see, and it's like, oh God, I'm so horrible. Oh, I'm a monster. And that's the part that you have to face. I can laugh about it now, but the feelings are deep. The feelings hurt because you can't get away from yourself. So it hurts inside of you. But you got to just keep facing yourself and keep purging it out, because there's a reason you are the way you are. You're not just a monster. You you have pain and traumas from multiple lives. Like, it's crazy how many, really hard lives that we've actually lived. We've been eaten by animals. We've fallen off cliffs. We've starved to death. There's horrific things that we've all been through. We've been hurt horribly by other people in other lives. So, we've been hurt horribly in this one too, but I think this one is really pretty minor compared to some of the other things that we've been through in other lives, where things were a lot more, like, I feel like humanity's come a long ways where we are now, even though a lot of people are like, it's horrible, it's shameful, but we've come so far and we're learning so much. And, it's written in the stars. We do make the turn. We do ascend. We take this to the next level. So, this time in our lives, that the painful traumas that we're going through still, even though they seem so impactful, you're carrying a lot more burden, a lot more darkness, and it's a part of you. It's a part of, like when they say, when a kid is born and they're going through their life and why they make the choices they make and why they do the things they do, and how you have kids in the same family and they're different, and people try and be like, is it nature, is it nurture, and things, but it is because your DNA, your makeup, your code of who and what you are is set. So yeah, you do come into life looking at things a certain way, learning things a certain thing. You have your own lesson plan even to help you go through the old stuff to purge it out. So yeah, there is, I would say it's more of nature. But, even if you tried to nurture your kids, even if you tried to be like the perfect parent, you may be the perfect parent for one of them, but the other ones have their own stuff to go with. And there's a lot of things, like even my one daughter who's not talking to me, I know that it has more to do with other lives too. Like, whatever the thing is that, she's mad at me about, that she's going to stop talking to me, but there's more to the lessons, and they're her impact lessons. They're for her because she's the one taking the action. So she's the one who gets this time to see for herself. And I don't know, like, you don't know the different things that you've done to different souls. Like, we have a veil over, so we don't know that you have like certain feelings when you're around certain people. And and there just is way more to it. Like, I think there is no point of getting all caught up and like thinking like, oh, mom, my child's not talking to me. And, well, if you got to go through the healing thing and go through and see, like, and come to terms with like, I was an okay person. I'm not perfect, but, I still have value. Just because somebody else doesn't see that value, they're caught in their own trauma. They're caught in their own drama. They've got to, that doesn't mean that you have to look at yourself through their eyes. You have to be able to get to your point of looking through your own eyes. But so many people pull themselves into these visions of hating themselves. But the things are that those come from inside of those people. It has nothing to do with you. So you have to learn how to love yourself and care about yourself, even if you are the fucking big, giant, pink-haired guy walking down the street, just owning it and being like, fuck, I don't care if every goddamn person in this world thinks I look like a lunatic. Who fucking cares? I'm loving it. And so, learning how to love yourself, even if you're marching to your own drummer. And there could be, other people who go by and go like, fuck, I've wanted to do my hair pink for a long time. Now I'm going to do it. That guy's rocking it. I'm going to fucking do it too. And that gives you, and when you're walking your own beat to your own drummer, then that allows other people to see and be like, oh, okay, well, I can do it too. And it's like a whole freedom that ripples out from you walking your truth and being your unique, distinct self, and being proud of yourself and not caring about if, you are approved of by the general populace, because, it doesn't matter. They're all trying to, and the ones that don't accept people who are different than they are, usually because they're so tightly wound that they are so concerned, like what everybody else is thinking. And so, see, it's something that they need to cut loose. They need to loosen up a little bit and learn how to relax and to be able to be more vulnerable and, show sides of themselves that, you don't have to be accepted for all your sides. You just have to be willing to just be true to yourself, show your sides, just be real. And that's another thing that, people are not going to be able to get away from. People are going to be showing their true selves, and then it's going to make them uncomfortable, because then they're going to be like, oh my gosh, oh, what are they going to think? But, just, it's going to be uncomfortable, but you just got to just be comfortable being uncomfortable. You just got to learn how to roll with discomfort, to be okay with it, to not be so caught up in everything has to be perfect. Everything has to look perfect. Oh yeah, and there's more falling apart too with I knew this was coming, with the makeup with women and the filters and all the fakeness. It's more and more falling apart, and seeing like, oh, this is, hiding behind something. Like there was this one woman and she had like all this makeup on, and I don't know what, I just saw this video that somebody shared. And so this woman's telling girls, it's time to let go of all these filters. Like, we need to be real. And then it shows this whole video of her getting her makeup on and all these steps. Like these people do this stage makeup, like their makeup is not just normal, like, oh, I'm just going to enhance my features. No, they're trying to create like whole different faces. And then they wonder why, people call them out on this. But so she, creates this whole other face. And at the same time, she's telling people to not be fake. It's like, this is the thing, is like it's weird because people can see this side, like, well, that's fake, but they still don't see this side that they're doing. Well, that's fake too. Like, if I'm going out and just putting on this fake face, I'm still hiding behind something. I'm still hiding, because, and then you gotta be like, well, what am I hiding? Why am I hiding? Why do I feel like my face isn't presentable the way it was just naturally born? Why do I feel like I gotta hide it and change it? And especially when it's like how much money is made off this fucking makeup industry of trying to get everybody to join in and create this face, this beauty standard face. Oh, that's the thing. Yeah, the beauty standards are falling apart, where people are starting to be like, why am I going out and putting on makeup to, who am I trying to please? What am I doing? Just like what I was saying about, like, go get these panties that have a fake butt, so everywhere I walk that I'm, visually pleasing the person walking behind me, if they're paying attention. And if they're paying attention, looking at everybody's butt, is that the kind of person I want to please? Like, I want to make sure they're happy. Maybe they're the puncher. I don't know. It just all seems so wacky. But everything is like, it goes at our own pace. And it's all of us just, all of a sudden being like, well, that's wacky. Well, that's wacky. Why aren't we doing that? Let's not do that. And each person internally. And there is no space for us to tell other people, you need to do this and you need to wake up and you need to do that, because everybody is on their own soul journey. And that is a part of when you learn how to trust the universe and understand there's a bigger picture There's a bigger thing going on, and it's out of our control. And they know what the fuck they're doing. They don't need us to sit there and go, well, I think it's about time. Even though, you know, I do that a lot. Come on. How much longer? Like, fuck. But, you know, we got to be getting close to this dramatic moment. Oh, yeah, and after I was saying, I think that this Aurora thing was a little suspect, because you should be able to go out and look at the sky and see the colors. You shouldn't have to use your phone and AI to be able to see it. Where I was like, this is really suspicious. I don't know. There's something suspect about it to me. And then there was all these videos yesterday after I went on and looked. There was all these videos of people saying that was fake. It's created with HARP, showing all this stuff, how the HARP creates the Aurora, like this whole thing. And I don't know if everybody was saying like about AI, like I was saying, like I think it's weird that that's like they've put it into our phones or something, and it's like we're looking through a filter. And but there was the general thing of like it's something that they're trying to do to distract us. They're trying to minimize something. Like, oh, and there was a guy who was in North Carolina today, and he said for like 10 minutes straight, he watched a fleet of ships go. He tried to get it on his phone, but he said it wouldn't pick it up. But he watched it for 10 minutes. He said they were all green, and they looked like little stars, and they all went in the same direction. And he said like 10 minutes. He even went in that, like once it started, he went in the house to get his glasses. He said he tripped over some stuff, got his glasses, and went out. He must have grabbed his phone too and went out. And he said, and it was still going. So he said it was going for a while. But that's the thing about just watching in the skies and stuff, if you want to see all this magic that's happening. But then also, you know, you don't know what stuff they're doing that's fake. There's a lot of stuff going. I just know that it's going to be a part of our future. And whatever, all the stuff they're trying to distract or catch up or trying to act like they're on our side, you know, all of a sudden they're telling us there's aliens and Aurora, like all their stuff. I don't know. It's like they're just trying to capture us into their perspective. And there was also a lot of people saying that after they went out and looked at the Aurora, they couldn't sleep. That definitely happened to me. When I went out, I was like, fuck, I can't sleep. I was up for a long ass time. And so, I don't know. There's just so much weird stuff. And every day is just weird. Like, every day is weird. It's like, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I'm just like a paper doll, colored paper doll. And I'm just got to get the energy to make her walk around and do things. And then you can get in the rhythm and you're doing stuff. And then all of a sudden it's been like a long time. It's been hours. And it's like, oh my gosh, where'd the time go? And then you start doing something else, and then it just seems dizzy, and everything looks three-dimensional. Like, it's just wild, everything. So just, you know, whatever you're going through, just know, like, there's probably somebody else going through the same thing. You're not crazy. You're not weird. You're just, you know, going through whatever it is that you're going through to come to this awakening, this, you know, is... I don't know what else to call it. It's like they had consciousness under their control, and consciousness is breaking free and becoming its own independent control. So not this mass control, and then it's just been some negative. So, you know, all of that stuff has to break down, and, you know, we're going to see, and it's all just so corrupt. And it's also artificial. It's, you know, it's just so much stuff, you know. And I wish I could think of what it was that he was saying about the thing where these people were like so outraged what he was talking about. And he's so, some of the things he says, they're always so ridiculous. When he's saying stuff that is ridiculous, you got to realize he's like saying it to get people to wake up and realize he's not saying it because this is who he really is, like that. He's just a catalyst, because they've created this whole thing where he gets people's attention. I mean, most of it is because they hate him, and then you got the other people who are just they are just so consumed with him that he's their savior. And so that is a part of their breakdown too, where he says weird stuff. So how far are you going to go with it? You're going to keep worshiping him no matter what he says? Because that part is for him to kind of get the people to break free to their own independence, to not be like, whatever he says, whatever he does, he's right, he's perfect, because they have got such a dependency on him. So it's like he's trying to push them back to getting, they need to kind of be like, oh, well, he is kind of a jerk, and there is a lot of those people that pulled way far from him, but then they all go off in this like fear and stuff. I say you just got to see the balance, the counterbalance. Yesterday they had old fucking Joe out getting interviewed, talking, and the news anchor lady was just asking himself. The thing was so absurd I couldn't even listen. It just was pissing me off. It was like, how many things can you listen to this guy fucking bullshit on? And the only way you can hear anything he says and think that it's legit is like if you have no idea what's going on. So anyways, but that is, those people, that's the part of their awakening. The ones that are all like, oh yeah, he's so perfect. And then they're going to see, because there's going to be such a collapse of, this whole thing of like, oh, well, if Donald does, it's a crime. But then it's going to be like, oh, no, he wasn't really doing any crimes. These guys were. So do you have the same attitude? Just like how the people are like, oh, save the kids unless it's a Trump. It's like these are the things that people have to look at in themselves. And so it's the lovers and the haters, because both things are out of balance. Everybody has to find their own balance and their own state of independence. And on all these different things, it's just getting into a state of observation, just watching as things play out, and not getting all judgmental and thinking, oh, well, they're stupid idiots. Well, they're just worthless. Well, they don't matter. No, it was just watching souls play out this reality change, this flipping of our energy into a better way of life, and it's watching an evolution of mankind is happening right before your eyes. Like, it's pretty fascinating, actually. But if you're not in that place in observation, then you're still in your healing your wounds, and you got to focus on that, and use this time wisely. Be aware of yourself, watch yourself, question yourself all the time. That's the point of getting to this part of you controlling you, is having the awareness of yourself, and not just adapting into a formula that they set out for our society. Stella's right here. That's why I'm turned weird. But anyways, so, and she's having a rough time still. We have not gotten that. It's still rough. But I did get her the RSO and putting that into her CBD stuff, even though it's really high in CBD, but it's still an extra big jolt of it, because one of them's THC CBD and one of them's hemp CBD. And so they're different. The hemp CBDs you can buy off of Amazon for dogs, but, and they work great. It's just that she has so many more problems. But also I looked at my anti-inflammatories after the surgery. I have like 4 or 5 left. I think I had 7 of them or something, and I took 3 or something. Maybe I had 10. I don't know, but I had, because I have 4 left, I think. And so I gave her one last night. I looked it up, and it's used for dogs. So I gave her one last night. I'm going to give her one today, and then the next couple, and then get her still back on the glucosamine. I don't know how, because she was taking the pills, and then I got these glucosamine treats. And so I was giving her those. But then once I started running out of the stuff for, when I was just focused on getting my surgery, I ran out of those, and it just didn't even click in me that she wasn't getting her glucosamine. So right now we have pills, and then I'm going to order her box, and her other stuff will come. But I'm giving her the pills and fish oil. So I'm trying to get relubricated into her joints, and the anti-inflammatory will hopefully help. So we'll see. The thing is like, she's in pain, and she's making it clear that she's in pain, but then she wants to still like live her life and go out and walk and play, and she eats nonstop. Like, god damn. When they say, like, when a dog's doing bad, it will stop eating. She's eating like 4 or 5 times a day. It's nonstop. Wants food, wants food, wants food. It's like, girl, You probably need to lose some weight. And so, anyways, and now I keep looking at these, on the fucking TikTok, there's always these people who are live, and everybody's having puppies. And one fucking thing, they're fucking in these shelters just murdering fucking, they are literally murdering healthy animals. They are murdering puppies. Like, it's disgusting. This is absolutely just mind-blowing what is in some of the stuff in our society. It's so disgusting. But then you have all these people who are having puppies and showing, you know, and they're selling these expensive ass fucking dogs. I saw one that was King Corsos, which I like the King Corsos. Those are $3,000. And then I don't even know on the French Bulldogs, but when I was reading the stuff, people were saying these are backyard because they are mixing, because you wouldn't get these kind of colors and stuff. So that's when other people are now calling people out. So there's going to be all these shifts that are going to keep happening because people are going to keep calling each other out. And but the French Bulldogs, and now there's so many people who do these videos with their English Bulldogs. And I just think, my God, French Bulldogs and English Bulldogs are so cute. I love English Mastiffs, but they're like a ginormous one. And it just makes me sad for her to have so many issues with her hips and stuff. So, yeah, but these fucking breeders are fucking bullshit. But anyways, I can't get a dog right now anyways. And I feel like I'm in this period of time where there's about to be this shift. And so I'm just like waiting for the shift to see, like, you know, which direction am I even going? What am I doing here? And I keep seeing like that Volkswagen van one every time I go on TikTok. TikTok, that pops up live. So I went and looked at their website. He says they have like 1,000, or maybe he said 100. No, I'm sure he said 1,000 of these vans. He said they get them over in Brazil and they bring them over and they redo them, and they're fucking so cool. They're expensive and you can't get loans for old things like that. But I'm gonna manifest one of those. I just think how cool to be able to go, you know, drive around and check out different places and look at different areas, and I don't know, it just seems really cool. And but what was I going to say about that? But anyways, that keeps popping up and popping up and popping up in my thing, where it's just like, fuck, I do want one of those. Man, I want one of those. I really want one of those, and I want to start traveling around and doing, I want to start, I just know once this shift happens, you know, just like the guy who was talking about going and riding his motorcycle across America. Like, I did know somebody who had done that before. Or I've known a few people who have done that. And because I've known a lot of people who have motorcycles. I've known girls that have motorcycles. I just don't go on them now. But I've been on them. I've been on lots of motorcycles. But you know, talking about the traveling thing and how everything is just not safe right now. Like, there's just one horrible thing after another happening to people. Even those Australian surfers who went over to Mexico and they were out on the beach, and then they were going to go to their Airbnb, never showed up, and they were killed by people on the fucking beach and thrown into a well. And you know, and then the other guys who were out there, and the one fella got hurt by the wave, and then they wouldn't fix him at the hospital, and they wanted to be paid, and there just keeps being lots and lots of issues. Like, both those things were in Mexico, but there is being lots of things going on in lots of different places. And so, but I feel like once this energy shifts, once we have the awakening part, then there's going to be a huge shift, like in so many things. But there's also going to be huge things about the way we travel. Like, there still may be kind of a stagnation or something. I don't know how it's going to go, because I just know that portals are a thing, and that and not like where you would even, I think, know that you went through a portal, but like how I'm saying, like how these guys are walking from India over to Mexico, going through the mountains. I'm sure they're going through portals of jumping into other spaces somehow. Just like they did in the Barbie movie. They showed that in the Barbie movie. She was jumping through different spaces to go to where she was going. That is what I believe our world is more like. Is like these realms and realities and stuff. And they try and give us this concept of, you know, we're out spinning and Earth and all this stuff. But I think it's all fucking made up as every fucking thing. There's nothing that we have been told, I believe, that is fucking real. Like, you have to look for what's real in between the lines in a fake-ass fucking world. So that's so funny, too. It's like, man, the Barbie movie did have some disclosure stuff. So anyways, just now, whatever is going on, like, it is, you know, focus on your healing. If that's what it keeps coming up, focus on your healing. That's important. Don't force yourself to try and get into observation and distract yourself from what it is you need to heal, because what it is you need to heal is what's most important. And everything that is here is to come up, is to help you bring things to the surface, to help you. And it's simple stuff, just about questioning yourself, questioning how you feel about things. The more information that comes in, does that change how you feel about it, or you still feel the same? And more information comes in, like, it's just a reevaluation of self. So, and that's, you know, the important part of everything that is going on, is that's important. So anyways, just keep with it and keep going. And, you know, it is all this, all the work is to get you to love yourself, you know, because most people don't. Most people would change and do anything to please a fucking stranger. And I say, you got to get to the point of you loving yourself, you loving yourself. And that's the challenge. That's the work. So, and it seems like so basic. Well, yeah, of course I love myself, but do you? Do you really? Do you give yourself value? Do you give yourself boundaries? Do you expect everybody else to make you feel better because you don't know how to make yourself feel better? So that's where you got to really question yourself and go into it, look at it deeper, you know, in your relationships and your behaviors. So anyways, in all of it, the more that you work on it, the more that you can fix it, the more you do feel good, you do feel happy. I mean, having boundaries is way better than not having boundaries, I guarantee you. Like, it's hard to work towards it, but once you have them, it's like, fuck, it makes you feel so much better. It's okay to say no. It's okay to, you know, not agree. You know, it's okay to be an individual. It's important. So anyways, just remember, it's learn to love yourself, love everyone else, and figure out how to have a loving day. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.